are in London in the summer of 2012. In the heart of the city stands the majestic British Museum, home to thousands of artifacts from around the world. Every day, crowds gather to see these ancient wonders. Hidden in a quiet nook of the museum stands a vase decorated with images of the ancient Olympic Games. And hidden in this vase, a tiny cockroach sleeps. And he's about to wake up. He looked around the vase that had been his bed for the night. How exciting these Olympic Games must have been. There was a chariot race, horses pulling two-wheel carts at a breakneck speed. There was wrestling, two enormous athletes trying to pin one another to the ground. And there was the discus, throwing a heavy disc as far as possible. Cockroach got quite dizzy at the thought of the athletes spinning so quickly on the spot. But that is what it took to become an athletic hero. When the museum closed at the end of the day and Cockroach hopped into the rainy dusk, he took shelter in a red telephone box where he was happy to find his best friends huddled together. As the rain poured, Cockroach told stories to Mouse, Fox, Squirrel and Pigeon. He told them all about the Olympic Games, and they thought him very lucky to have seen such an exciting thing on a vase. As the thunder rolled, they looked up and something caught their eye. A notice pinned next to the telephone. Our daughter Jessie is ill, so can no longer go to watch the horse riding events at the London Olympics this summer. Jessie would like to give her tickets to another child in exchange for a picture of a beautiful horse. The animals felt sorry that Jessie would have to miss the Olympic excitement. They noticed that she didn't live far from the museum, and so as the rain stopped, they took to the glistening London streets. They walked, hopped, scuttled, and flew to Jessie's bedroom. As they peered through her window, two things struck them. Jessie liked bright colours, and Jessie loved horses. There were stickers galloping across the window. There were dozens of horse books in English and in Czech. There were horse toys, horse pictures, even a rocking horse. And at the far side of the room was Jessie herself, fast asleep in bed. On her bedside table, the two Olympic tickets for the horse riding event. The animals thought it very kind that she would give her tickets away. "Ah, let's do something wonderful for Jessie in return," cried Cockroach. "We'll have to work all through the night and make sure we don't wake her up, but it'll be worth it." The animals set off to work. The next morning, Jessie crossed her room to see if it was sunny outside. As she pulled up her blind, an incredible sight greeted her. Overnight, a Colosseum-shaped Olympic stadium had been constructed outside her window, made out of all sorts of odds and ends. Above it hung a white sheet with 5 Olympic rings. Jessie raced back to her bed to get her big sketchbook so she could draw this amazing spectacle. As she moved closer to get the best possible view, a mouse potted out into the middle of the stadium and held a large sign above her tiny head. The red team. And so the games began. First, Cockroach on a cycle. Round and round he wobbled, working hard to stay upright. The longer he rode, the dizzier he got. Jessie sketched him as best she could, which was difficult because by the end he had built up quite a head of steam. When he finally crossed the finishing ribbon, Jessie and the animals cheered. And now for the green team, Mouse and the pole vault. Mouse took a fork and braced herself for a run. She tried once and failed. She tried a second time and failed again. One more chance, Mouse. And she did it! A round of applause for the determined little rodent. For the black team, a real clash of the titans. Fox and Squirrel were to fence one another. They moved at such an exciting blur that Jessie almost forgot to draw them. They battled until they were breathless and shook hands at the end as friends. And for the gold team, Pigeon would sprint. It was more of a bob, hop and hobble, but Jessie appreciated the effort and found it easy to draw because he was so very slow. It was a shame, thought Pigeon, that there wasn't a flying event in the Olympics. But through sheer determination, he made it to the end of the race and got the biggest cheer at the game so far. And then the blind went down. There had been 4 events for 4 of the coloured Olympic rings. But what about the 5th one? She flicked back through her sketchbook at the wonderful sight she had just seen in her garden. The speedy cockroach whizzing around on a bicycle, the might of a tiny mouse vaulting over a beam, the nimble fox and the agile squirrel fencing one another in a blur, and the determined pigeon breathlessly running around the stadium. It had been such a wonderful morning, and she was sad that it had to end. Suddenly, the blind rose and a deep blue light shone in from outside. The animals had saved the best to last. Jessie knew what it was before she saw it, because she heard the most wonderful sound in the world, the sound of galloping hooves. The horse that burst into the stadium was unlike any other she'd ever seen. And how it moved, leaping over any obstacle put in its path. Jessie quickly sketched this wild, wonderful horse in her book, and it was her favourite drawing yet. When she looked back up, the horse had gained such speed that it lost control, crashed into the side of the stadium, and revealed its secret. Fox, cockroach, mouse, squirrel, and pigeon, of course. And that was the end of the show. Jessie blinked hard. No, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had it all there in her sketchbook. And then she got an idea. She decided to invite her school friends to tell them all about her Animal Olympics. And she made invitations from her drawing. And when the friends came, they too started drawing the amazing animal athletes and played the whole afternoon. That night, Jessie slept well in her bed and Cockroach in his vase. Both were happy to have been part of their very own London Olympics.
Pod našima okny teče vodička, napoj mi mamila mého koníčka. Já ho nenapojím, já se koně bojím, já se koně bojím, že jsem malička. Já ho nenapojím, já se koně bojím, já se koně bojím, že jsem malička. Horsey, horsey, don't you stop. Let your feet go clippity-clop. Your tail goes swish and your wheels go round. Giddy up, we're homeward bound. Horsey, horsey, on your way. We've got a journey of many a day. Your tail goes swish and your wheels go